Welcome to the Love Pod, where inspiration, vision, and real connection come alive. Wherever you are, you belong here.
Welcome to the Love Pod, everyone. I'm your host, Nathaniel, and I'm just so pleased to have a special guest here today, Ravi Gregory Etherton, who is just such a wonderful presence and has such a colorful journey to share with us. You're the author of 8 books, 2 that are published, Ravi. Protonic Speaking. I love that title of that book, and as I was telling you before the show, just have this lifelong fascination with language and meaning and the deeper truth that I've always felt is my North Star. So I'm welcome to the Love Pod. I'm just going to invite you to share more about who you are and what's that passion that drives you in your life.
Well, thank you, of course, for having me. Anyone who knows me, they know that my kind of key word is gratitude. I'm super, super, super blessed. I don't know how I got. Everyone says they have a lucky star. I know I've got lucky constellations somehow. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm amazed at the life I'm getting to lead. And as you know from my first book called Pay Yourself First, it's called Pay Yourself First. I was not born into money. And I was, as a matter of fact, my mom, and I love my mom, she's amazing. She's in San Diego, where I grew up. I grew up in San Diego, Santa Barbara, Ventura. We lived a very peripatetic lifestyle, if you will. My mom was one of the most unstable women I've ever met. And she's amazing. I love her. And this is the beauty of it for me, see, because I think everything is grace. The fact that we're here, the fact that the other day, flying at 30,000 feet down Patagonia mountains, and I got so lucky, I got the window seat, and I typically arrange it to have at least an exit seat or something. And I don't know how, but this plane, because the window normally is right here, and of course the wing is right there because it's an emergency exit. I don't know how I got so lucky, but the Airbus 321, the wing was behind me. I got to see everything.
Amazing.
I mean,
Amazing.
Literally rode straight down the Patagonia mountain range.
Wow.
It was incredible. It was amazing. And then the funny thing is, I'm just sitting here, and like I said, I'm into gratitude, right? And I'm just like, thinking about how amazing to be able to fly at 30,000 feet. I wrote a haiku about it, but I don't have it with me. But anyway, about being able to fly 30,000 feet in the air and order a coffee. I mean, birds can fly, but they can't have coffee at the same time. We are just living at the absolute, probably greatest time in ever. I mean, all time. This is so amazing. Everything that we can do. And like I said, I think grace and gratitude is my key thing, because if someone looked at my life, they'd say, this dude should have come out a complete loser. I mean, seriously, with my mom, who has been married 8 times, my dad was in a wheelchair. My dad was in a wheelchair because he tried to rob a Holiday Inn and the cops shot him.
Oh my goodness.
So I didn't come from the good stock, in the good stock in the mental sense. That said, physically, I'm very thankful. But I mean, I keep, push-ups, sit-ups, all the other good stuff to stay in shape.
Yeah.
And so I've been taking care of this little, what I call a borrowed body. I call it just a borrowed body. It's a vessel, whatever. And it's amazing because I'm in Chile. I'm in Argentina. I just got into Argentina from Chile. We're about to go on this cruise to Antarctica with Goose and the gang. It's going to be amazing. But the thing is, like I said, I grew up and we didn't have money. As a matter of fact, one of my first major, because everyone says, well, what's the turning point? I have several for everything. I don't have just one thing. But one of the major turning points was being in a store, being on food stamps, and asking my mom, like any 12-year-old kid, hey, Mom, can we have some of this? And my mom just yelled at me. We can't buy that with food stamps. And I had one of the most embarrassing things in my life. And I'm just like sitting there. Later, of course, I understood. She was embarrassed herself and whatever. And I get it. But the 12-year-old me didn't get it. And that was like a huge energetic slap. And so I didn't understand people. because I also grew up with some asthma, so I had to stay indoors a lot where my friends and brothers and sisters were out playing. I had to stay inside sometimes. Not victim stuff, just it's thanks to stupid stuff like this that made me become very proud of the man that I've become.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely proud of who I've become because I'm leading, thankfully, an amazing life. But I also helped myself set up for it. I really helped myself in this world of plenty. We have everything we need. Everything's here. So basically, at 14, another stupid little story. I wanted to be on the wrestling team like my dad that I didn't know very well. I thought it'd be, a connection because he lived in Michigan. And so I wanted to kind of be like my dad who was on the wrestling team, but we lived too far away. And the after school bus didn't exist. We only had the school bus. We traveled an hour a day on the bus to get to school, to get to high school, right? There was no after school bus. Plus we didn't have the $85 for the uniform. So, but what I did do at 14, at 12, I already started doing paper routes. I used to work 3 paper routes. Nice. Same thing. At 14, I was also doing stuff. I started working as a busboy, but like in like a chic restaurant, in the chicest one in town. So I was a busboy with like a little nœud papillon in French, bow tie. So I got my start that way. And then at 16, before I knew that we could declare to the universe, I decided I was going to become a millionaire. That was just in my mind the easiest way. It was in my simple little 14 to 16-year-old self. That was the way to get past everything. Because everyone I knew at the time complained about their job. Yeah. They didn't like their boss. They didn't earn enough money. They spent too much time from whatever. They couldn't go on vacation. And I realized later on that I think people just like to complain. But I took everything so seriously as a young man that I didn't understand. I thought, well, why don't you just correct? And then it just really made me think, why in the heck are all these people working 40 years, something that they don't like, but not enough money? And I thought that the whole system's screwed up. So fortunately, I started reading and studying how to get rich, how to make my first million, which is what I did. I was able to make the first million. And then now I've spent it. So I have to recreate a new, in French, I say patrimoine, right? So I have to recreate a new fortune, if we will. Yeah. And one of the first things that I've since discovered since I've been retired for over a decade, in my first book called Pay Yourself First, I call it a practice retirement.
I love that.
A practice retirement, because hey, we need to get good at everything, right? We have beginner's luck in a lot of things. Sure, absolutely. Yeah. But for retirement, we want to get that stuff right.
Yeah. That's amazing, Ravi. You, I know also you've had a really robust life experience in terms of some of the people you've got to meet. Being an author and being a connector of people, I think is just such a beautiful way of leaving, impacts and building relationships around the world. You've had opportunities of meeting Sir Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki. You said Brian Tracy as well, and probably many others in this journey that you've had. And you have, I feel like, an important message around language. So your first book is Pay Yourself First. Your second book's Platonic Speaking. Can you speak a little bit how that came in? Because it sounds like there was some really deep wisdom in the 14-year-old boy who was listening to the grown-ups around them and realizing that they were off kilter a little bit. And I can relate to you because I felt like I had that kind of old soul perspective as a young boy. So yeah, I'm interested in how this evolved. So you made a decision, I'm going to be a millionaire, and then what happened next?
And that's funny, but when you said that, here's the thing, because we are going to talk about language. Yeah. And so I will tell you in process, in real time, what happens for me. I hear something that sounds not the way I would say it or want to experience, because I think we're always programming one another.
Sure.
So
I am open for correction.
Oh, well, wonderful. No, and a lot of times it's not necessarily correcting something you said or for you, but it's also to help make sure that I stay on my master track, whatever we want to call it. Master. Yeah. I mean, people say manifesting. I use other words in a lot of contexts. right? So
I hear you. Yeah. And I'd like to explore that more, but please continue.
yeah, very good. So what happened was I seriously had written pay yourself first. Okay. I wrote it for people thinking, oh, people just need the recipe. If they
Mm,
just knew how to do it, they would do it.
mm,
No, no, that's not the problem because as
mm,
we know, anyone can go out and get rich right now on the internet within a few years, but
mm.
it takes work and effort. And the famous be do have, people get that backwards sometimes and they just think, oh,
Yeah.
I want to have a nice car, I want to have this, or I want to have that, and they forget about the be part. So anyway, the beautiful thing about the whole having time off, it allowed me the time to get to know who I am and who we are.
Mm,
And so when we talk about language, one of the first things that I like to tell people is that whenever we learn a foreign language, one of the first things that we learn is how to say is it's called the first person singular.
mhm.
And then the first person singular can be plural. So you and I are both men, you and I together, we become we.
Mhm.
And when I talk to men, I speak a different way than when I speak to women. I have some very, very, very structured ways of speaking. I venerate the vieux, venerate the old people.
Mhm.
I try to honor women.
Mhm.
I respect men
Mm.
and I cherish children. Those are
Yeah.
actually four very, very concrete verbs for me. I
Mm.
cherish children. I venerate the old. I try to honor women and I respect all men.
Mm.
And people say, well, shouldn't you respect women or shouldn't you?
Mm.
Yeah, of
Mm.
course, we can use them all for everything. But I'm
Yeah.
saying for me,
Mhm.
I'm the one living this way out.
Mhm.
So I have to live my way. And I speak six languages fluently. As a matter of fact, on the bus right now, I was speaking French to the gal behind me,
Mhm.
Spanish to the couple next to me. An Italian gal came by and started talking to me about something. And so I spoke back to her in Italian. Um, of course, I'm traveling on a U.S. passport, and you hear my English is, very Hollywoodian or whatever. It's I tease and say I have an accent in every language, right?
Mm.
Because in Europe, my English is actually, not British,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so anyway, I had said that, but what I did was I just went ahead and lost the what it was I was going to say to you originally about that. So going on to Platonic speaking, then
Mhm.
what I thought of it is more like the mindset.
Yeah. Okay.
And now there's a lot of things that I've been somehow blessed to live like on the avant-garde or on the cutting edge or whatever we want to
Mhm.
call it, the leading edge or whatever. And language is one of them. So I really hope that we're going to come into the phase where people start being super conscious about the way they speak so that
Mm.
it helps me when I'm speaking very in a very conscious way
Yeah.
that I don't have to explain a bunch of stuff,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
this is one of the most amazing things. So this is why I'm saying when I speak to men, I really just like to speak for myself because you have your own needs, family, or whatever. The way I look at it, and I have some crazy ideas, right? I mean, as a matter of fact, a lot of my spiritual friends, they always say the universe is perfect. I say the universe is. If we
Mm.
want to add perfect, that's a great adjective. Why not? As a matter of fact, for language, every single adjective, think about this, every adjective is a judgment.
Mm. Mm.
So I just say the
Interesting.
universe is,
Yeah.
and
That's
we're
very
adding, we're
interesting.
trying to add our own sauce, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meaning, I do see myself as a meaning making machine. Like I can look, maybe machine's not the right word, but I do create meaning based on how I view something. And I do feel like it's the role of a creative or an artist to expand how we can interpret meanings and look at things and expand consciousness. I feel like humans are exceptionally um adept at this, but we're not always consciously aware of how we're doing it. Especially, like we talked at the beginning of the show, we have no intention of putting our daughter through any institutionalization. I feel like a lot of that that level of awareness, that level of understand, that self comprehension, and that genius gets wiped away by a lot of the programming that we're given.
The geniusness, that's huge. If we really think about how we're born, of course, the beautiful thing is we start with an in breath, right? And we end
Hmm.
with an out breath. And everything in
Yeah.
between is what we call life, whatever
Hmm.
this reality is, and it's wonderful. And and for you have a daughter,
Yes.
how old?
She just turned 2 years young on Sunday, on Imbolc on February 1st.
Oh, amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. And
Yeah.
that's huge. And I like that you know some of the other pagan alternative, whatever we want to call it, whatever
Well,
people label they want to put on it.
that's
Um,
interesting. Her name is Luciana. So her mother speaks fluently Italian and speaks quite a bit to her. And so her name means light. And my understanding of Imbolc is it's that time of the light returning, right? It's the preparation for the springtime.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I love all of that stuff. As a matter of fact, because I did want to say that you mentioned the word old soul at one point.
Hmm.
And the funny thing is, I don't think of myself as an old soul.
Yeah.
I have this crazy idea that I'm like a walkthrough. I'm just
Hmm.
passing through. There's a one-time good deal that I get to come. I
Hmm.
don't know if you ever saw the movie with Bruce Willis called The Fifth Element.
Yep.
Okay, I had an amazing experience in Burning Man. The
Okay.
gal from The Fifth Element showed up, and I was volunteering in the
Oh
main
yeah.
tent pouring coffee, and she showed up, and you know what that voice?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. You remember, right? She's
Yeah, I
got this
do.
incredible voice,
There's
and
a
it
lot
was
of
her.
profoundness to that film too. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So I just consider that I want a trip to this reality, this
Mm.
planet, whatever it is, and I love it. I
I
absolutely
love
love it.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like, there there's an ineffable quality. I love how you describe it as everything between those two breaths is what we call life. And I find that's one of the like when you talk about language, I what I'm hearing is there's a succinctness to what you are speaking in terms of your meaning, and there's a term in Nakota, which I feel like a lot of indigenous languages had were more earth-centric and were more meaning focused. They weren't they weren't head-based. And there's this term called Chattayukpi, where you speak from your heart, like everything you speak. So a lot of indigenous peoples, my understanding is they didn't have the comprehension of a lot of the deceit that was built into some of the colonial languages that came. But I feel like that's, when I hear that intentionality to be very succinct with the words you intend and to comprehend the meaning that you're putting out there. Because I feel like, especially in English, a lot of us do not really study etymology. We do not really have a background in knowing what the meaning, and sometimes we have very vastly different meanings of simple words like life. Well, some people think life is a game. Some people think it's a battle. Some people think it is, we can give all kinds of meanings and we just say, well, it's life. And it's so funny, Ravi, because like I joke about this, like we're so arrogant as a species in a way because we have summarized everything in all of his existence that ever can be, will be, and is, including ourselves and every loved one we have, in one word, one syllable, four letters, life. It's hilarious. It's like a cosmic joke.
yeah, yeah. Where it really probably could be a four-volume, huge old thick encyclopedia. L book, I book, F book, E book, right?
Yeah. There's your ebook.
Yeah.
It's funny. I love acronyms, and life to me has always felt like two acronyms: loving intelligence forever evolving, and loving intelligence forever expressing. And I feel like there's this dance that, is between love and intelligence. And it's like you speak of the abundance and the miraculousness of life. I speak very similarly and have for since I can remember. To me, there's inherent miracle in all of this. And it's very easy to normalize miracle because we talk to another, you know, amazing symbiont of trillions of cells with all kinds of complexities and infinite internal dimensions. And we're talking and having a cup of coffee 30 miles up in the air on a plane, and we just I got to go to my job. Like it's so funny. We really do normalize miracles, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I
well,
like the way you said it too,
yeah.
because when you said those two things, I had right away. I had like two hits on because I love acronyms as well. So you said, I think you said abundance and miracle. Anyway, whatever you said, the A, and then you said M. I just saw am like I am, and
Hmm.
then you said something else, and the two initials in my mind were I and M. So I am,
Hmm.
I'm right.
Yeah, I love
So
it. I love it. Yeah. So,
yeah, the language is so powerful, and
mm,
this is one of the things that I really wish people would be able to somehow start to open the studies to,
mm,
because we have absolutely been programmed from the day we got here,
mm.
from that very first 10 minutes. I mean, I'm guessing you were probably blessed enough to be in the same room as a woman that had a baby.
We had a natural home birth, totally in our sovereignty. We had a naturopathic doula who was totally in her sovereignty, not practicing in her license. I had the opportunity of catching our daughter, and without any epidural, because we understood that it blocked the oxytocin and the consciousness of the mother. We did a lot of preparation. Julie had like an affirmation birth wall and did a lot of meditation visualization. And you know what, Ravi? Luciana actually is the reason why we are doing Light Heart Vision. It's named after her essentially, and because in that moment of catching her, she looked into my eyes with such presence and awareness, and it was meeting me, and I felt from her, oh, that's what you look like, because she's been listening to us for 9 months, right? And then she turned her head and looked right in Julia's eyes with the same presence. And to me, I've seen some amazing things. I mentioned in the interview with Goose, like beings of light. I've seen things materialize out of thin air, feathers of perfect white new growth that I understand are messages from angelic beings, and all these amazing things, and infusing. I felt the infusion of divine consciousness come into my body, fasting in the land. So, in my times working with indigenous people, I've had all these amazing experiences. But catching my daughter, the greatest miracle that I have ever experienced, and it's not just because she's my daughter. Of course, there's that specialness, but it really gave me that deep understanding that all of us come from this place of deep miraculous nature, and it is my
Yes.
role to help awaken and reflect that miraculousness in all my egoic challenges in life and stuff, and dealing with the individuation of being here. But I feel like that is my role as a community builder, as a bridge builder between people, and that's why I love doing this show, because I get to have these beautiful conversations with individuals like yourself who remind us of these deeper, profound reasons that we ought to be. I believe maybe ought is not the right word, but we have so much to be grateful for in life, despite our challenges, and even our challenges, they help us grow into the character and beings that we're meant to be. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I really do invite you to have more children.
We intend to,
Great.
and we would like to
Great.
go actually more towards Italy and different places where the culture is a little bit warmer than in the area of the city we're in. We're in Ottawa, a very government town. We really yearn for closeness and warmth of connection, and I know you know that European lifestyle and just that difference. We're missing that, and that's why we're grateful for school as well. We really feel like that's a
Yes.
place that we can
Well,
thrive in.
that's just a little add a little bit of fuel to that fire. What you just said. One of the greatest things about living abroad is that as a foreigner, our human problems, our human not fitting into what society thinks we should be doing, is a lot more easily excused.
Hmm.
So when I'm doing something, a lot of times people say, yeah, it's just a foreigner.
Okay, interesting.
I'm like, but he doesn't know any better. No, actually, he knows way better. And that's why he's not doing your stupid ass societal ritual.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
That's a great point. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
So
I love
by
that.
being a foreigner, we're excused, which means we're allowed to be more of who we really came to be,
I love that.
which is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's actually really uplifting to me. I've actually never traveled to Europe. Uh, I'm born in a very secular family. We traveled around Turtle Island. We went through the states and stuff, and a lot of it was through the roads and growing up. We spent a lot of time in nature and did more like mini trips. And I yearn to see some of the landscapes around the world and just the diversity of Mother Earth. Like there's a lot of places I'd love to take our family, our growing family, and part of that is to give them that experience. I feel like that's the greatest educational experience I can provide. And when I say education, what I mean is allowing them to, what you just said, to bring out who they are. And I feel like being in different cultures almost allows you to refine that and to get to know yourself in a different way, your uniqueness.
Yes, 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 yes. And when you say that, I would just, for whatever reason, throw the word back to you, ludication or lucication, like
I,
because educare means to draw out, as I'm sure you probably know, maybe
mhm,
not all the readers or
mhm.
listeners, but so I just invite you to think of lu as in loose, like in light, right?
Yep.
Luciana.
Yep.
So uh, lucification, ludication, some sort of lu education, right? So
Oh,
I
interesting.
just, because the way we duke means to lead.
Mm,
So lu lead, right? The light
mm.
leading.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm
Okay.
guessing that you have a very special daughter, and so that she could be a leading light somehow.
Yeah, she is. You know what? It's so funny too. She knows what she wants.
Great.
She's a
Respect and
very,
honor that.
I do. She has a very strong will, and
Sure. Hopefully.
I do appreciate that. And that's another reason why I refuse to put her in any institutions, because I know that they would just see her as like a problematic child because she has a strong will. She will
Yeah,
fight for what she
I'll just
wants.
let me give you a quick like
Please.
platonic thought.
Yes, please do.
It's an invitation.
Yes, I love it.
Always think of her as free.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
institutionalize other people if they want that.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't even put her. I would not even put her in
associate.
the same phrase anymore. I
I
would
love
just
that.
completely have it already so separated that from now on, when you hear the word institution, it's like a bad word.
Mm.
Because I have a couple of kids as well, and I know like there's a couple of crazy things that we would never think of. For example, don't give honey to children.
Yeah.
Don't give chocolate to kids. There's a couple of little funny things like that that we would,
Hmm.
why? Well, who
Hmm.
cares why? If we're not supposed to, sometimes the old medicinal stuff is true,
Yeah.
right? So I would just absolutely see Luciana
Mm.
always
That's free.
free
Yes.
spirit, and know that everyone else that's in an institution, and I'm sorry to say it, but whatever institution, it's no longer intuition. It's
Mm.
it's an outer tuition. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's no longer in. It's
Yeah.
jail. It's
Yeah.
prison. It's and I really do. I love the idea that there is this omnipresent, omnipotent God. I love that
Yeah.
idea. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think that we're using matrix money. I think
Hmm.
we're in a matrix or a simulation or whatever. It could be whatever we want to think of. I
Hmm.
don't, it doesn't matter. All I'm
Hmm.
saying is I'm enjoying as much as I can and trying to share the wealth by leading a great example. I'm just a man. I drink, I have to go pee. I eat, I have to go caca. I mean, I'm just a man. At the
Yeah.
same time, I think that everyone's problems is everyone's problem because they did not follow their real path. A
Mm.
problem is when we're not following the path,
Mm. Mm.
our path. If we're
Yes.
following someone else's path, then that's a problem.
Mm. Hmm.
Now, I think
Interesting.
there are different ways to think about it. For example, I'm sure you have personally seen Chinese dolls, not Chinese, Russian dolls.
Yes.
Okay, well, we all fit together, and we all have our piece of the puzzle, the pie, or whatever we want to call it, paradise. I think we're
Yeah.
already living in paradise. I think we
Yeah.
could have. I think paradise is already here. We
Yeah.
just need to open our eyes and our hearts and our breath to breathe it, live it, and see it.
Hmm.
So it's here now. It really is. It's up to us to stay aligned with it somehow.
Yeah.
So our speech, our language is so amazing at what's bringing the future into us by the way we speak.
Yes.
Every word could actually count.
Yeah. And
Every word.
I feel like it does. Like I feel like there's such a high level of intelligence that is forever rooted in a love that we cannot fully comprehend as an individual, I feel. And it because of that high level of love, it's I feel like everything is accounted for in a way that we can't fathom. And it's because there are laws of existence that we either align ourselves with and harmonize with, or we break ourselves against. But you cannot, I don't think you can get away with trying to get around the laws of existence. Maybe you can delay them, or you can, try to, you know, to be strategic. But I feel at the end of the day, when you talk about opening our hearts, opening our minds, I feel like this is what a lot of people often encounter in their last few breaths before that letting go is like they have a recall of their life, and they reflect on what they've been, who they've been, how they've contributed, and I feel like at the end of the day, language is really at the core of our relationships, and everything in life is relationships. We in English, I feel like there's this my my view, and I've talked to a lot of different indigenous speakers about this. So my understanding is a lot of indigenous languages from Turtle Island are actually inversely related to the European languages in terms of their structure. So indigenous languages are like 80% verb based and 20% noun based, whereas English and a lot of other like the Germanic languages and the other language families from Europe are often verb based, and they focus on on externalizing, objectifying. And I feel like that gives us the sense when we do that of separation. Whereas if in Cree or in Anishinaabe when I would say something like that, it would be akin to saying, like, if I was saying I'm going to the beach, as though a beach is a separate thing for me and I'm going there, you would say something that it is more rooted in the meaning of I am going to become the beach, because it's an understanding there is no separation from environment. And
Love it.
similarly, my spirit name that carries me, it's Ondakin, and Aki is
Say it one more time, please.
Ondakin,
Now say it super slowly just to hear something.
Ondakin, Ondakin,
I'll give you just a quick translation because you already know what you want to say. So one more time.
Ondakin.
Okay. So just for fun, on is the French word for we.
Mm,
Literally think of the word one with an E at the end, but
oui.
take away the E. It's still one. It's even more one than one.
Yeah.
On. Okay. Da means to give.
Mm, mm,
Dame eso. Dámelo, dámelo, dámelo in Spanish, right? Da. Dar, to give.
mm, mm.
Kin sounds amazing because it sounds like kin. We're all kin.
Mm, mm. Very true.
And then I seriously do think of myself as a traveling prince.
Mm,
I
mm.
just for fun, I call myself an astro prince. And
I
it's
love
been,
that.
but the thing is, I wish, I really hope that you and I get to meet in person this year.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
But
Well,
when I see you, I know that I am speaking to a brotherly prince. I know that you are also a prince.
oh, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I
No,
appreciate
it's
you,
true.
Ravi. Well, and I knew that this would be somewhat of a cosmic conversation just from having some interactions with you on calls and seeing your posts and things. And I appreciate your interpretation of my name. And it's really interesting because in Anishinaabe, it's very similar to what you just said. From a different angle of seeing it, it means the keeper or the steward of the land. And so when the way I look at my body, you said like I'm borrowing this body. I agree with that. And in the sense, I would go even further to say that this body is the expression of an aspect of Mother Earth, and it has a purpose to fulfill. And if it is in alignment with its role as a steward and fulfilling that purpose, then, like you said, it's healthy, it's well, it's serving, it's giving, and it is in harmony with the oneness all around it. And this is a common ideology in many indigenous peoples, like we are the land. And it's interesting too, there's one thing I'd like to share with you, because you are so interested in language and have this focus on mastery. I love that you brought that word up when you're talking about manifestation, because I have this I have some gripes with a lot of the new age kind of, spirituality kind of jargon. People I joke about it all the time. People are always talking about their ability to manifest things, and they're so proud of their ability to manifest a parking lot or a parking spot. And I always say, well, if you're so good at manifesting, why don't you manifest a parking lot and at least you get paid? Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
get it. I get it. I get it. I get it.
well, and this idea, I think that really the only manifesting power is the creative power of love, and we can tap into it from an egoic place. But the problem with that, because the ego is not really who we are, it gives us an identity and an ability to interact in the world, but it's not who we really are. And when we manifest,
Just so you know, the third book I wrote is
yeah,
on the ego.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay,
And
very
I
cool.
call the book, by short, I call it Rad Self, but it really is radical self-expression because, like I said, the
Mm,
ego, I think we're all princes. So for me,
mm,
the ego is noble. And here's my little comparison. I know I just cut you off, but I think
mm.
you'll appreciate it.
It's okay.
Have you seen olive trees? Have you personally seen olive trees in person now?
I have not, no.
Ah, okay. Well, interesting. I love olive trees, and I think it's the perfect symbol of the ego
Mm,
because we have a lot of them in the south of France where I live, and Spain, and Corsica. And I just took a couple of quick videos in Chile the last couple of days because I came across two different olive trees. But an olive tree, most people see an olive tree, and it's not even not even 6 foot tall. It's not even 2 meters high, right? Because it's in a pot,
hmm
so it's no longer touching the earth. So it's got limits on what the roots can do, right?
mm,
Because we know trees go as far down as they go up, etc. But
yep.
the other thing about it is every single olive tree that we ever see basically has been cut, trimmed, pruned,
Mm,
squashed somehow. And that's
hmm
exactly what happened to the ego.
mm,
Society, the state, the institutions, all of that stuff has just completely cut us up,
yeah.
squeezed us into the smallest little ball of nothingness. And if we let just one branch grow from the olive tree, it will go. Olive
Mm.
trees can get to be like 4 stories high, but
Wow,
we
that's
only see them
amazing.
about 2 feet. And
Imagine
so I
all the
wrote this whole
olives.
book on how the ego is noble,
Yes.
but it's
Yes.
only the noble liaison between this borrowed body or the earth, as you, I think,
hmm
so rightly said. It says it. I mean, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
hmm
For those that believe the Bible, great. The dust came from the earth, and and
Yep.
then, but we're also stardust. So,
Yep.
this idea that our spirit, we're breathing something. How do we die? We quit the spirit. The spirit quits us. We quit breathing. That's how we
hmm
die. It's
hmm
that simple. That's how we keep going, right? So basically, the idea then that an olive tree is the liaison,
hmm
and our ego is the liaison between the divine, cosmos, spirit, whatever we want to call it, and the earth.
hmm
And we've all been beat to death. And so everyone is just acting out of been beaten so much, right?
hmm
Even if we were all sponges and we were so tightly screwed. Well, when we finally start to grow again,
Yeah.
we're not doing anything spectacular. We're not
Yeah.
manifesting. We're just finally taking up a little bit more of the space that we came to
mm
own on the earth.
mm. I really appreciate your perspective, Ravi. And you would be, I think, pleased to know that, well, I agree with you, number one. I actually I do not view the ego negatively at all. I do feel like
Right.
it serves the purpose of giving us, it's the guardian of our identity. Without an ego, we wouldn't have the prompt to get up and nourish ourselves or to do anything really. I feel it's one of the most wonderful gifts that divine consciousness has given us so that we can have the experience of being an individual. And where I get a lot of my knowledge from has been, well, my own direct experience with Christ consciousness and Christ himself. And it's funny because I actually do not believe the Bible. To me, I feel like the Bible is not a source of information that I can trust because it has been, like the olive tree, so pruned and so cut. Not to say that there isn't profound wisdom in it. I know that there is, but as a direct source of like truth, I do find challenge with that. And where I come from is about 11 years ago, I was divinely prompted to go to a particular bookstore and go and get something that I was looking for. And when I was there, I found this book. Actually, I have it right here. And this
Oh,
isn't
cool.
the
What's it
exact
called?
one. It's called Christ Returns Reveals Startling Truth. And it has
Okay.
no author to it. It just says Christ rejects religious dogma. And it says, over 40 years ago, Christ purified and he programmed the mind of an Englishwoman who had been educated in a strict Catholic convent. In the year 2000, at the age of 80, she began to transcribe under Christ's directions the teachings she received throughout her years of contact with him. It came to her mind in the form of 9 letters. And there was some follow-up messages and things. But the thing is, this isn't a book. These are letters that I feel like this transcendent being, because I had my own direct experience, and I'm much more scientifically minded than like religiously minded. If he had not appeared to me, I feel like I would have questioned this. But it
Sure.
it says it's an
It's
incomparable.
interesting because I just have to add one more word to what you said. You said religiously or scientifically. I
Yeah.
have to add the spirit.
Yes.
I,
Spirit.
the, I love the word spirit.
Yes.
The thing is, everyone has a connotation with the word spiritual, but
Hmm.
spirit is what we breathe. I mean, the old
Right.
Greek word for spirit is breath.
Yes, exactly.
It's just the breath.
It's just like
Spirit
chi
is breath,
is,
right?
yeah, exactly.
So
I
instead of
agree. And
spiritual, we're breathable.
well, and this idea that we're spiritual beings having a human experience or that the spirit realm is somehow removed from us, I actually don't feel that's true at all. I feel we're all spiritual beings. We are all spirit having a, a life. We're life.
Yeah.
And part of the joy I feel is in awakening to remembrance. And this is what he outlines in this what he says is his autobiography. It resonates truth with me, and why I feel like moved to share with you, Ravi, because I have never found a source of written letters that are so succinctly articulated the meaning that he each word is. When I look up the definition, I'm like, he means exactly what he's saying. Like it's so straightforward and so to the point. It's not aloof and poetic, like some other materials. Like I find the Course in Miracles is like that. I didn't really resonate with it so much. This is just so succinct and to the point. And what he's talking about in this book is, in these letters, I'd like to say is he's calling us to awaken to the power of our minds and our hearts and to align the ego with the will of divine consciousness so that we are being in harmony as the cosmic, as you say, the cosmic princes and the source of our being. Because when we are like that, like you said, paradise is on earth. And when we're in harmony with it, well, we're all having we're co-creating a wonderful time. But we can go against that and I can say, well, Ravi has all this stuff that I want. I'm going to go take it from him. But that'd be breaking myself against those laws of existence, right? So I felt moved to share with you. I don't bring it up a lot. I actually have never shown the book on the call, so you're the first one I've actually shown the book to.
Oh,
Um,
I'm glad I inspired that.
yeah, they're so valuable to me, man. Like I honestly, they're my favorite thing to share with people because I feel like they're letters written from like our like just such a wonderful brother, and he clarifies what he said when he said, we too can do these things in greater. He goes into great detail and depth and uses so much different language about divine consciousness. He explains father and mother, divine impulses of universal consciousness. He talks about it in so many ways to get us to see this greater picture, like we've been talking about this ineffable life that we have been granted with. And you know what what's so beautiful is your focus on gratitude is exactly how he was able to be such a miraculous blessing to those who came to him for his teachings and for miracles, because it was he understood very very deeply and clearly the nature of the parenting impulses of consciousness is to provide all needs. So he was just a perfect channel and just practice gratitude to allow it to flow through him because he
Oh,
was
awesome! I
clear.
love it. That's actually a interesting point because I mean the idea of channeling. I because I have a lot of friends that are mediums and they channel, and I've literally met Bashar.
Oh, okay, interesting.
He's got one of my books. He's got protonic speaking.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, but
Daryl Hammond is Daryl. Anyways, yeah, yeah.
exactly. Yeah, Daryl. Yeah, exactly. And he's an amazing guy, and I love what he channels. And the funny thing is, I have other friends that are channels, right?
Hmm.
And I think that I mean, I could see how that we all have our guardian angel, but I don't think what people realize is that we probably also have our demanding demon as well. If there's a
Mm.
guardian angel, there's probably also a demon.
Demanding
And
demon. Yeah, that's
so
interesting.
yeah, I mean, and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But I really love the idea of threes. I love the
Mm,
idea of threes. For me,
mm,
three is how I start counting. Three
hmm.
is zero. Then I can
Yeah.
start counting because then I know
Okay.
which number sequence I'm in. You know the
Mm,
Fibonacci sequence?
That the golden ratio.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So basically, I love three,
Yeah.
and 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 when we think about the channels or the people, I tell my friends, no, I'm hermetic. I'm more like a cosmic fisherman. I'll
Mm,
if I have something I want to know, I'm not going to invite anything into my
mm,
borrowed body. Um, I'll throw out a line, so to
mm.
speak, and then I'll get my hit like a fish, right? And I'll go, oh, and I got to reel it in, and I know I've basically got two shots. If I don't take it on the first time because of whatever reason, I know I got to grab it the second time and hurry up and write it down. That's just the way
Hmm.
I roll, so to speak.
Hmm. Hmm.
So the the reason I was saying that is because it could have just I mean, I don't know at what point we're in whatever this reality is. It literally could have been your own higher self or your guardian angel or your whatever we want to go up into
Hmm. Hmm.
higher up somehow, like the Russian dolls, right? At some point where, it could have been that was put here just
Mm.
for you to follow, for you personally, for you
Yeah.
to follow
Yeah.
that, right?
I
And I
appreciate
see
that.
this all over.
Hmm.
It's
Interesting.
it's an amazing thing, and I think that one of my things, because you mentioned school, and coming back to the real point I wanted to say,
Yeah.
is that I understand the whole niche thing. I've been studying marketing now for the last 2 years, which is no big deal. It's no big deal. I get it, but here's my glitch or my problem with this niche stuff.
Your glitch niche, your niche glitch.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care about people's problems. So I
Mm.
don't have an avatar. My avatar would be someone like you. Who can I go have fun with? I mean,
Yeah.
if anyone's got a problem, they put it there themselves because they
Mm,
didn't listen to themselves.
hmm.
So if I have someone like you, who's obviously well on your way on the path, together, we would affect more dolls.
Mm, I hear what you're saying. I actually, it's interesting you bring this up, Ravi, because I've been contemplating this in the last little while as I've invested more than I'd like to say in learning the entrepreneurial game, and there's so many like fire hoses of information. And my first one was Tony Robbins, and that guy's a fire hose of information. And I love he has the embodiment stuff, which is really important, state mastery. But he focuses all on peak state, and I actually really appreciate the state of wonderment, of awe, the state of childlike nature. I feel like that's a state that is more natural to my beingness than peak state all the time, like high performers. And I think it's great if we can navigate this. But I've been thinking a lot, contemplating really, this because one author I really admire is Don Miguel Ruiz and his voice of knowledge, he talks about this, that the lie that we all started believing is that we are imperfect and we start creating problems based on this. But the truth is that we like if life, everyone says life is for us and there, are the things we go through shape us, like then there's something to consider in that. And I actually really appreciate where you're going with this. I feel like it's refreshing in the sea of just and the reality that people create is one of problems. So I feel like it is natural for people who want to go and help. But I even have this challenge with the word helper. I mean, Ram Dass spoke of this. And my view of a helper in a lot of indigenous circles, an elder would only describe themselves as a helper. And then an elder has a helper's assistant, but they're not there to solve problems. They're there to conduct ceremony, to provide teachings to help people connect with who they are. So I love what you're saying, and I agree when synergies can happen between high vibing folks, then we can really co-create
Well,
from a place.
I have to say something on what you just said. That's huge. What you're saying right now, and I think maybe you and I have something a little bit more to do together.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah, to explore.
the I love the idea of a mastermind, for example, and I love the idea of mentoring because I've been very, very blessed to have some great mentors. I mean, my book mentor is Brian Tracy. This guy's written so many books. His wife, talk about an angel. Tony Robbins and Bob Proctor are probably two of the most, I don't know how to say it, but I've met a few, but I mean, in a positive sense, because I met a
Mm,
couple of, anyway, but in a positive sense, Bob Proctor and Tony Robbins have power. They
mm,
really, I've seen Tony literally work magic.
mm, mm, mm,
In India, we were in India together, and the guy has a magic wand. I mean, I swear, I literally saw magic happen. But
mm,
anyway, Bob Proctor is completely, he's passed away. You know, I'm sure he's got all the peace on his soul that he needs, but he's amazing. But there are some people like that that just they come with incredible energy, or they develop
mm.
it, or they allow it, or whatever. And the I just lost my train of thought. Oh, where was I going with that? Oh,
Talking about
yes.
masterminds,
So mentors.
mentors.
So very blessed. Brian Tracy is my book mentor, if we can say it like that. But for me, a mentor would never take money. A mentor, what do they want? They want to invest the knowledge that they've gained from a lifetime. They want to make sure that that is going to get carried forward. So they invest it into someone.
Mm,
If someone
mm,
is paying for that, that's no good. That's no longer mentorship.
mm,
And it's the same thing with a mastermind. People paying for a mastermind? No. Pay for a brain dump. Pay for a group coaching session. Pay for something
mm,
else, but that is not a mastermind. For me, a mastermind has to be without matrix money. It has to
mm,
be each person giving to a whole, and then we all can get better
mm,
from the whole.
mm-hmm. Mm. I love that. It's interesting. Lightheart Vision, part of the three aspects of Lightheart Vision are actually part of. Um, I wrote a guidebook, also unpublished.
I love that it's three.
Yeah, it's three, and the three pillars of it are very intentionally there. And as I was writing the memoir of our daughter's birth, it's written from an interesting perspective. I'll just say, I stumbled upon this. At first, I thought it as a method, but really, it's a community operating system, and it's called the Moment Home Miracle. And Home is an acronym for Heaven on Mother Earth. It's actually
Wait,
I
can
see
you
it
slow that down? It's the moment of what?
the
Home miracle?
moment home miracle. So the idea is when we are all in a state of receivership and in mutual reciprocity with one another in states of gratitude, and we recognize, like you said, with the cosmic prince, we recognize the miracle that we are across from one another, and then really enter in that to state as a moment and practice what Yeshua was really talking about was heaven is a state of consciousness of unconditional love. And people misinterpret that. I think when we hear unconditional love, we think, oh, it just means you forgive everyone. Well, no, no, no. If you consider love as a creative power, without condition, it is infinitely capable of all things. So it is a state of power, like you're saying. So the Moment Home Miracle is a community operating system and is built on these three pillars of Lightheart Vision. And I was listening to Michael Bernard Beckwith talk about how, we've created this really intricate matrix of the internet. Our minds are connected, but he said we haven't really established a heart network yet. So I really believe in creating a heart work, and those of us who are willing to do that heart work and to create. So maybe this is part of a much bigger conversation that we can have, Ravi.
Well, Michael Beckwith is a great. Last time I saw him, I was in Sedona, Arizona, and I bumped into Ricky, his wife, and she goes, "Michael's on the next dial." I'm like, "Oh, fun!" Of course, I had to go
That's
give him a big
interesting.
hug, and then we had dinner that night and stuff. He's absolutely amazing.
Hmm.
He,
Hmm.
he's a wonderful being. He's
Okay.
a great guy, and he is teaching. I haven't been following for years, and I haven't been back to his church for a couple of decades. But I used to actually sell Protonic Speaking there and just leave all the I left all the money. I would bring them
That's
my
wonderful, man.
books and they
Yeah.
would sell them there,
Mm,
and then I would just leave all the money to the church, right? But
that's wonderful.
yeah, I love Michael. Yeah, he's great.
I can tell
And
just from
and there's
listening to him. Yeah.
yeah, he's really got a lot of great stuff. But I mean, the people that were in the famous movie The Secret, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
They're all teaching some great stuff, and I think what we want to do is find out what's the best for us. And I think
Mm,
that we all need to go inside more.
yeah.
We and but we can help one another, but we really have to come with the idea of empowering. Now, I will, if you're open to, I actually you just mentioned a word a couple of times, and I'll go ahead and tell you. In my book, Platonic Speaking, I say instead of saying unconditional love, what if we
Mm,
said condamental love?
Condamental love.
Yeah, like
What?
what kind of condiment would you like? Would you like some Tabasco on that? Would you like some hot sauce?
You're a
Would you
character,
like some
man.
sweet and
I
sour
love it.
sauce? How do you want
Fundamental
your
love.
love? How do you
That's
want your love?
great.
Because if we say unconditional, there's
Mm,
obviously a condition.
mm, mm.
Try and do something unconditionally. It actually comes out with a condition.
Mm,
It's
mm.
just the human condition that does that
Yeah, yeah. That's
because
interesting.
of the root word condition. But
Yeah,
it's also
because
got the word duck in there, right? Duke, like to lead.
mm,
Sorry, dict. It's dict. It's more like speaking. Sorry.
condition. Yeah, yeah, interesting. Well, I certainly never thought of it that way. And you know what's interesting about words? Like you said, every word, every adjective is a judgment. And in the letters, he says specifically, like, all of these words are shadow forms that I am using to try and direct your mind to see and experience the reality of the presence of love that is around you and within you in every ounce of your experience, you know. And he describes that father mother life, you can understand them as holding mutual restraint, father being the intelligent love that is the will and the activity and movement of life. And it expresses physically as electricity, and the mother being the loving intelligence that is the bonding, the nurturance, that which grows, the purposeful a goal that the father sets, and it expresses as the magnetic drive. So you can understand the form is the mother, and the activity the form does is the father. So it's this dance. All of life is this dance, and in the mutual restraint of one another, it is perfect equilibrium of space. So that is
Yeah,
what he's pointing us to. Yeah, opening
I'll give
our.
you. I'll give you my version on what people. There's a lot of people that still have problems with it, but that doesn't matter. I don't. That's their problem. But the way I see it is, we men are like pillars, right?
Mm,
So, but to take it in a different angle, we men, I love roses.
mm.
I love
Yeah,
roses,
roses are beautiful.
smelling
All
roses, right?
flowers.
So yeah, and so for example, if we look at a rose, I just say that we men are the stem.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
woman is the rose. The woman
Hmm.
gives us the aroma.
Hmm.
Or another analogy for it could be that, like a piece of art,
Mm,
we're just the frame. We
mm,
could be an okay frame, we could be a handsome frame, a good-looking frame, or a
hmm.
pretty frame, or whatever. But the woman is the tableau. The woman
Mm,
is the art.
mm,
And I
mm,
like to think of it that way. We have compared to what we could, I mean, women can give us life.
mm. I know.
Sure.
There
They,
it's there women are beyond my ability to express how magnificent and amazing. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I
And that's how come
actually
I said, go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say I
That's what
actually
I was saying
appreciate that.
earlier. What I was saying earlier, cherish the children.
Yes. Cherish the
We
children.
cherish the children. Respect each man because men need to be separated.
Hmm. Hmm.
We hold space,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could prove this. I could prove this morphically, physically.
Hmm.
Morphophysically, I could prove how us men hold space. Proof, proof, proof. Anyway, women are the flower. Women are
Mm,
art. Women are the why. I mean, women are the whole reason of the planet. We're here for women.
hmm.
It's the beauty of it. So
Hmm.
it's just it's fun. It's fun. It's
I
fun.
hear
But I
you.
would also I would also like the women to know that they are more connected than they think.
Mm.
And that when a man shows up, that is to separate the energies for a reason.
Mm.
So I've been super extra blessed. I have one son
Mm.
and two daughters.
Okay. That's wonderful, Ravi.
It's
What are
it's
their
amazing.
names?
I know exactly what you're talking about
Mm.
with your daughter. Because
Mm.
when I caught my boy, my heart opened up again.
Mm.
And I'd closed it off.
Mm.
But my boy opened it up again.
Beautiful.
And
Mm.
daughters, oh my gosh. So what I like the way I love threes, right? So I think of it as this is the boy,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
And of
Yeah.
course, we've been living for so long under my thumb because these two girls, they are incredible and they have so much power. We don't have power. We
Mm.
have physical power. Women have emotions, and that's where all the real juice comes from, right?
Mm.
It's the emotions. So if
Mm.
a man shows up, there's a reason. We need to
Mm.
separate the women a little bit to clarify things,
Mm. Interesting
whatever.
perspective.
Like the man as the sun and the woman as the moon,
Mm.
or vice versa. It doesn't even matter.
Yes.
But I say that we have our solar cycles just like
Yes.
women have their lunar cycles,
Yes. Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
we want to respect, and we absolutely need both,
Mm.
but we need
Yeah.
them to be who they are.
Yes. Yes, and aligned, right? Not well, I mean, Tony's work talks a lot about, how when relationships are in balance, it's because the woman is entering into her masculine drive, or the man is entering into his feminine drive, not being true to his true power dynamic. And, all indigenous peoples know, I should say, that we have roles to play in terms of, and I feel like that's part of the confusion of the times we're in. There's this like odd, like it's almost like, oh well, it doesn't matter, or this super fluidity, and there's always been in between people, but primarily like the driving you know qualities of consciousness in any family is that femininity being supported by the masculinity to create a strong bond for a family to flourish. Otherwise, it's very challenging to know whose role is what and how to be. And so, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, when I was studying Indigenous wellness, I would wake up every morning and often put some tobacco down, some nesema, and say, Bojo Mishomis, thank you, grandfather, which is the sun, and the grandmother is the moon. That's Gokumis, and they have different functions, and they affect our bodies differently, right? Like when we're on our planet, like we had a full moon a few days ago, and I was feeling the effects of that.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love the energy of new moons because it just feels like there's an extra drive coming back up again through. Whoa.
Hmm.
So like
Yeah.
when there's like a new moon and there's something going on with the sun at the same time, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
full power. It's amazing.
So,
Yeah.
Ravi, you are at the precipice of a beautiful journey going. You mentioned briefly, I think, for people who are listening, like you're going to Antarctica, man. That's really
Yeah.
cool. You're going with Goose and some other really influential schoolers. Let us know how you're feeling about that and what you're looking forward to, and yeah, where you're at right
Oh,
now.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I've actually been down here in South America for just over a month now because I wanted to make sure that no matter what happened, I was going to be here, right? So
That's amazing.
yeah, yeah. So it's yeah, I just we're meeting up. We cruise on the 7th. We leave on the 7th,
Okay.
and we're supposed to show up 2 days early. Today's the
Okay.
3rd. I'll
Okay.
show up tomorrow. I'm now only a 3 hour bus ride away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, but yeah, it's amazing. It's a once in a lifetime experience. People talk about the 1%. I actually feel, this is a little side thing, but I actually feel that we all are part of a 1%.
Mm. Mm.
Most people think about the financial 1% or the elite 1%.
Mm.
No, 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 no. We all are part of a 1%
Mm.
if we just take off a few layers of societal crap
Mm.
and we really just try and get to why we came.
Mm. Mm.
And you'll probably appreciate this. Like I said, I love the number 3. So what I really do think is I think that we absolutely have some sort of what I'll call divine dharma.
Mhm, mhm,
So the Dharma, of course, is kind of like it could be translated as our life mission, purpose, or whatever,
Hmm.
something like that. But since I'm so um, uh, tight on words, if we will, I say divine Dharma because
Mm.
if whatever our idea is of God, the divine, the universe, the cosmos, I just like to say the cosmos, but whatever. If someone wants to say God, awesome. Well, God is omnipresent. That means
Mm.
He's just as much in me as outside of me.
Mm.
He's everywhere. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
how much more do we describe omnipresent?
Yeah,
So let's get
exactly.
present means let's get with God, right?
Yeah.
So how do we come up with our divine dharma? We're here, we're serving that higher purpose somehow, whether we like
Mm.
it or not.
Mm.
Then we have what I call, and this is me, I call this a morphic mission with one another,
Mm.
with one another as men. If you and
Mm.
I were out and there was like a bunch of women having a circle, you and
Mm.
I would probably be like kind of like the space holding gate guard somehow. I could
Mm.
imagine
Mm.
giving the women just I don't know, a hectare of space, and there's 12 of us men just all the way around the outside edges, not
Mm.
even within hearing distance, and we're facing outward. Allow the
Mm.
women to do what they need to do to embellish the earth, to get back together with Pachamama, to go bleed on the earth again. We
Mm.
need women to bleed on the earth, but this is, I can go a little bit too cosmic if we want. If we pee in the water, that might be one thing. If people are sick, they need to quit crapping in the water.
Mm.
Think
Of
about
course.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are water. The,
Yeah.
the earth is covered in 70%
Mm.
water. Sure, some caca is going to get into the water, but animals don't do that. They do
Mm.
dry on dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when we crap in the water, we are
Mm.
making ourselves sick. Big
Mm.
Pharma loves that stuff.
Mm.
The
Interesting.
institutions
Yeah.
all sell all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there was something else I wanted to say with that, and I lost my thought on
You
that.
were
It went
talking about
back.
holding the space for women so they could be, embellishing in the earth.
Right. So we need that nourishing energy again,
Yes. Yes.
and it's gone. We've lost it.
Mm.
Women are almost. It's almost as if women amongst themselves are not allowing other women to have children.
Mm.
No, 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 no. And the whole. Let's just. And I want to stay in beauty here, but when
Hmm.
I see a lot of scientific stuff, when I see a lot of conspiracy theory stuff,
Hmm.
and then when I travel around the world, I've been around the world. I'm literally on a second around the world trip right now, going
Hmm.
the opposite way of the way I went the first time,
Hmm.
and I see the dogs everywhere.
Hmm.
Well, sure, it was a great way to go from 10 to 20 kids per family, and us living in tribes and us living in village, and we need a village and a tribe and a community to raise our children,
Hmm.
our children.
Hmm.
Um, it's part of the collective somehow. There's a really beautiful French film called The Green Earth, I think, La Belle Verte. It's
Ah,
called
I've heard of that.
La Belle Verte, and it's
La
an
Belle
amazing
Verte.
story.
Okay.
But anyway, we have our purpose here, and this is absolutely not judging. I'm in total equanimity with it. It is what it is.
Hmm.
I'm just observing what I see and what I've noticed in my little lifetime. And I noticed that with the whole kind of, let's just call it the gay movement or all the alphabet soup, whatever they're doing, okay,
Hmm.
cool. If it was really coming from them, I would say great. But I see it's been planted just like
Yeah.
the
There's agendas.
pandemic and different
Yeah.
things like this.
Hmm.
And here's what happens with the animals, they have dogs. Why? Because now gay people can have a family. They can have their little pet, and everyone has made dogs like people.
Hmm.
No, I'm
Hmm.
sorry.
Hmm.
Watch a woman go through birth.
Hmm.
Watch a dog have a litter.
Hmm.
It's not the same thing. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, both of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but we are not dogs.
Hmm.
We are human beings.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I think we really want to clean up a few things. So I would love for the
Hmm.
women to get back to the earth. I
Yeah.
would, I mean, I've got a few ideas that are crazy, right? I would love for everyone on the planet to quit crapping in water.
Hmm. Hmm. I think that's
It,
actually really important what you're saying. Yeah. And
oh,
it's
it's
and it's
huge.
unique. We don't
And
talk, it's funny when you're reminding me when that feather manifested out of thin air, I was describing to this woman who was the owner of this center called the Heart of Unity when I was studying Indigenous wellness. It was only her and I in this space. And I was sitting there and there was this column. And as I was describing these community centers, that I had a vision and I saw myself. I wasn't even physically in form anymore. I was in the waters of these community centers in pure, vibrant, living waters in this fountain in the center. And to me, that was so refreshing to see a fountain in a public place that was clean water you could drink. Like to me, like it's just so different than what we are exposed to in like malls and stuff. And this beautiful community center where, it was just a place for everyone to come and contribute. And there was gardens all around, and there was places for the elders and the children to reunite, because I feel like that's such a core element, in all communities that has been taken away. As I was talking, this feather appeared out of thin air, and it was just all new growth feather, all white. And I didn't know what it meant, but I stopped the conversation. I was the only one who could see it because the pillar was there. And I said, a feather just appeared out of thin air. And she didn't sell any feathers. We both stood up and looked at it. And I picked it up, and I was never seen a new growth feather with this. And she wanted to put it by her cash register because she was struggling for cash in her business. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, but I'd like to buy one of your journals, and I'm gonna go write about this experience down by Lake Nipissing. And I did that, and I went and blessed the water with the feather, and I filled that the whole journal in sitting by Lake Nipissing. And speaking of, I always joke because it's called Lake Nipissing, so I always say I moved from Nipissing in the lake to Nepean in the river because I moved to Nepean close to Ottawa. So, but while
But
I was there, it's funny. I was just totally divinely inspired writing that I was doing, and I wrote in there, this line just stood out to me, like, why am I writing this? But what are our children thinking about when they're pooping? And that relation to water and poop, I feel like, so many, like you say, we're conditioned from the moment we're here. We're removed from just that awareness of how that inner genius in this. And this conversation, I think, is really, as someone might say, it's just an odd thing to talk about pooping and water and stuff. It's actually our relationship and how we're functioning with all of nature. So I think there's something really deep in this. And I think it's profound. Like there's a lot here to unpack. And I hear this because, to me, when I feel like the waters, like in a lot of indigenous traditions, the women have, and they carry the water. So they have the role of carrying for the water, and the men have the role of caring for the fire. And those two support one another, right? So deep stuff, deep stuff.
both essential, both essential. And how much time do we really go out into nature anymore? When we think about it, I mean, even if I just looked out the window right now, and I'm in Argentina. Fortunately, there are two trees just out there on the sidewalk. But what do? We walk on a sidewalk that's got another foundation. So that's already minimum two separations from the earth.
Hmm.
Then we're wearing shoes, socks.
Hmm.
We are so separated from the earth. It's not even
Hmm.
funny. Now, actually, a couple of years ago, I lived in Spain.
Hmm.
Oh my God. It is the most cemented place.
Hmm.
It's cement everywhere because
Hmm.
I have to laugh when I see society laws, whatever, come out with some
Hmm.
stupid laws sometimes. There was
Yeah.
a law at one point where we were not allowed to spit in
Hmm.
Paris. And I'm all, no, I'm sorry. I walk outside, I have to spit, but I don't do it on a sidewalk where people walk.
Hmm.
I used to live on the canal, so I would spit into the canal, right?
Hmm.
Or I would spit on a tree, like
Hmm.
dogs pee on trees, or we pee on trees. I still pee on trees, or I spit on the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the idea of us watering trees and
Hmm.
the symbiotic relationship that we are in, it's
Hmm.
good for a man to go up next to a tree because we're giving it direct carbon dioxide.
Yeah. Yeah.
People forget about that
Yeah.
because no, we become so selfish, but it's great to be selfish. We need to be selfish. As a matter of fact, we need to be even more selfish than we are, but not stupid Instagram selfish, selfie selfish. We need to be selfish like, what did I come to do? It's time to
Yeah.
do it.
Hmm.
And I was
Yeah.
saying earlier about the Dharma, so the divine Dharma,
Yeah.
our morphic mission,
Hmm.
that's how we are as a group,
Hmm.
the post that we each have, or the role, or
Hmm.
what we're supposed to play with each group. But then we also have a personal purpose.
Hmm.
So we have all three. We
Hmm.
have all three. And I'm happy for the ones that have found one. But
Hmm.
what about the other two?
Mm, mm.
And I think that by getting into one, we could develop the other two a lot more easier. And the more of us that start to wake up to, hey, maybe we're multi-purpose.
Mm.
As men, I really do like the idea we could only do one thing well at a time.
Yeah.
Wonderful. But sometimes we're actually doing killing two birds with one stone
Yes.
or three. You see what I'm saying? And when we align our body, mind, and spirit, what I'm calling the ego in the middle as the liaison, the total liaison, when we're going with our yeses in life and not the no's, but our yeses, it just opens up such a beautiful path. And of course, being grateful for everything is only the thing. As a matter of
Mm.
fact, I wrote a book. I've been writing a book for years now, called "The Glorious Gift of Gratitude."
Okay. The
So
glorious gift of gratitude. That's wonderful.
yeah, yeah, and it's magical and it's
Mm.
fun. And still not finished, but that's okay. It's been a long process. But I was
Well,
going to say with the idea of that, even though I am so huge into gratitude, at the same time, there's a part of me that says, well, there's nothing to thank. There really
mm,
is nothing to thank, but
mm,
there's nothing to forgive either. Everything is. Once we leave everything is, then we need to thank, then we need to forgive, then we need to heal, then we need to all the other crap that we've invented for ourselves.
mm, mm.
Everything is, and
Yeah.
we're blessed to be here. When we recognize that,
Mm.
go back to nature, and I don't know. I just spent five. I just was in five different hot springs in the middle
Wow.
of Chile.
I love hot springs. Wow. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, Chile is great.
Oh, I look forward to going to Chile one day. We almost did because we actually left this country when they were closing the borders because we were nonconformists during the pandemic, as you mentioned. And we went to Costa Rica. And a few things I want to
Good.
share with you. If next time you're in Costa Rica, there is amazing artists since you love three so much. So you know how every time everyone says pura vida. Well, he's an artist, profound artist. His name's Arguidas, I believe, and he says pura vida, and this is his symbol for pura vibra, not pura vida, pura vibra. And he's all about the vibrations, and he uses three in all his work. Everything's based on threes. So I think you really
Love
appreciate
it.
him. And you know,
You could send me a link to that
sure,
after, please.
I will, I
That would be
will.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, Furland is
Cool.
great. And also, you know, even that word forgiveness, there's an element of giving. There's an element of letting go and giving back to nature. And you know, so many communities on school do like challenges all the time. And I never did a challenge, and I didn't want to add more challenge. I feel like we give ourselves just like problems. We give ourselves challenges. We give ourselves problems. So I did a gratitude tune up. And UP is also an acronym for universal power. So it's aligning to universal power with gratitude. And I just feel like it's like you and I share this mission, Ravi, of like reminding people of how powerful gratitude is. And I feel it's an extension of the masters who have come here too. They showed us the same thing in how they lived, right? Buddha wasn't complaining about, you know, people coming to talk with him. He was like, leave me alone. He was like, no, he's practicing gratitude. Even the people that wanted to hurt him because they were disrupting they perceived that he was disrupting their business by gathering meditators and stuff. He would just love them and be appreciative of them and teach them from where they were at. And I feel like human beings need this more than ever because there is so much confusion. There's so much programmed like there is a self-hatred that some people have adapted and are extolling. I mean, they're literally, I forget what podcast I was listening to, but it was a guy on a cover of Time magazine and he was standing there and he's an extinctionist and he self-proclaimed extinctionist. He said, there's 8 billion people in our world and there shouldn't be one, you know, and it's like, I feel like humanity, if anything, needs to forgive and realize that we are an amazing species. Even if you just look at our arts and our architecture and the way that we have built languages and cultures is so beautiful. When we are in alignment with our role as stewards, and I feel like gratitude is at the heart of that. When you're a steward of something, you cherish it, or you try to honor it as best you can, or you have respect for it, or you venerate it. That's all aspects of being a steward, I believe. So
Sure.
I really appreciate
Absolutely. Love that.
so much of what you have to say.
I love the stewardship idea. I mean, it's not our Earth, so we. Oh, it froze. You there?
Mhm.
It froze up.
Yeah, it's just for a second, but you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
our Earth, and yet it's not our Earth, and yet it it is us as well, right?
Sure. Oh, I mean, if we're in a matrix, I say we are the matrix. In school, I don't know if you've seen on Goosify, I post sometimes, we are school. And as a matter of fact, when we were, because you
Mhm.
mentioned Costa Rica, when we were going through one of the jungles in Costa Rica, we were doing the zip lines and everything like that. At one point, um, because I have my own little fun stuff, Goose is filming a lot, right? And so, but I also would like, I had
Okay.
like camera stuff going on as well. And so I had everyone at one time say, "We are school," or "We are school," right? So, and I say, "We are school. We are.
Yeah.
We are. Whatever we're
Hmm.
playing, we are,
Hmm.
right?" And this is the craziest part.
Yep.
When we think about how we were when we were kids,
Mhm.
I mean, come on. If you and I were playing when we were kids, if we're 4, 7, 5, whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, we'll be like, you'll be, Batman and I'll be Superman, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll be whatever, and then 10
Yeah.
minutes
Yeah.
later, we'll be Bonnie and Clyde. I mean, we'll just, and
Hmm.
it's switching all the time.
Yeah.
So when I hear all these people saying, "Well, you got to be hyper focused," I'm like, no, you got to be hyper stupid to try and hyper focus. How do you focus? No, you just got to go play.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Only through
play more.
the eyes of a child, right? Yeah, we got to play. I think it's so
Not
important,
just the
Robbie,
eyes
what
of
you're
the
saying.
child, but like be
The
the
heart
child
of the
again.
child, yes, the being the child, yeah, because we are
Yeah,
children,
our
right?
inner children are they need to thrive again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if anything, I remember looking at the grown-ups as from a specter perspective of a young child and be like,
As a specter.
as a specter, yeah, as
Nice,
a
nice,
specter,
nice. Yeah,
as pure as I remember looking at the grown-up and they've playing with themselves in their own mind. They believe all these things that's not really what's going on. And I remember seeing the reality of wonderment and how important it was to play. And I remember a distinct moment where I decided I'm going to play the game because I think I can just kind of shift back out of it. And I feel like I always kept a tether there. I think probably we all do because we all have our true soulful self there. But I realized it's harder once you go into that game. It can be a challenge to go back into the playfulness and just that exuberance of being a child of the cosmos, a cosmic
yeah,
prince, like you say. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yes, yes,
Robbie,
absolutely. We need more of that.
we do so need that. I mean, I feel like we could probably talk for days, and we have a lot more to share with one another. I am aware that time is of the essence, and I also have some preparations to do. But
It's
listen,
all wonderful.
I would love for you to share more about how can people connect with you. What's the best way of doing that? And then I have one question for you.
Okay. The best way to get me is on school. I have I have a little community
Okay.
which is called Cafevore. Think of a carnivore.
Okay.
It's called
Affable.
Cafevore, and then my like subtitle, if you will, is um, Cafe, Cosmos, and Cash.
Nice. That's great. That's great. That's
Yeah, so I just decided. Well, I didn't just decide, but I just announced it to a couple of the people in my group that I would like to win the school games, just
mm,
because.
beautiful.
Yeah, it just seems like the right thing to do. But
Yeah.
the funny part is, in my group, I really have been, quite the gatekeeper and only really allowing people in that I've met in person. So I've only
Okay.
got 53
That
people
makes
in there,
sense.
and there's probably only like 3 or 4 that I've never met. But since I saw the interactions and I actually DM'd them and talked about it. So you said you wanted to join my group, or the group. What is it that you think you might want to, whatever. I actually kind of give them a little DM interview, so to speak. So I don't have a lot of people in there, and I haven't
Beautiful.
been looking for it. But if I do want to win the games, I do. So I need to do something differently. I'm not sure exactly what that will be.
Mm, mm,
Um,
yeah.
we'll see. So school's the best way to get a hold of me. And
Okay.
it's either at Ravi or / Ravi, whatever it is.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, well,
school dash
we'll put the
dot com
links in
dash
our
Ravi or /
community.
Ravi or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. And
Yeah.
that's probably the best way.
Oh, someone wants to say
And
hi to you, Ravi.
okay.
Here. This is Luciana.
Oh, Luciana, ciao bella.
Ciao,
Mi
bella.
piace vederti.
Oh, you hear,
Tante
Ravi?
belle cose.
Oh.
Grazie per essere qua. Buongiorno, principessa.
Buongiorno, principessa. Do you hear it, Ravi? Are you
Oh, she's
hiding?
hiding.
Ravi, before we end today, I just love to ask you this one question. If you had a megaphone and you could speak to the whole world and ask a question, what would you love to say?
Just when you said that, the first thing that popped in my head was quit loving each other, just love yourself.
Mm, mm,
And then overflow with it.
overflow.
Love yourself first.
Mm,
And then let it overflow. Quit loving other people. Love yourselves. Just love yourselves. Be extra selfish in the sense of getting down to that stomach, that little belly button there that has a real bigger mission.
mm,
And be like super selfish to come back to who we came to be. And I don't like to say you. I don't like to say you like that. I personally just try to overflow with love. Thanks to having spent a lot of years getting to know who I was and how great I am, because we all are. And because we're infused with the divine. If the divine is omnipresent, we're obviously full of it. Right? And we can be full of it too. But if we eat crap, we'll be full of shit. So drink lots of good water. Quit crapping in the water. Love yourself. Love thyself. Love me. Love all. And I like your idea of the podcast, but let's just quit loving each other and love ourselves first. How's that? How's that for a fun one? To
I love it.
change.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I feel like when we truly love the self and all the gifts that it gives, we can see that it's the same self that is within all of us that interconnects us, right? We're not really separate. So when we can truly love ourselves, then it's easy to just be that around people, and you don't have to project it because you just are it, right? If I'm hearing you, that's how I'm hearing what you're saying.
Well, I
And
divide by three. So there is the absolute omnipresence, right? The divine. So we have that divine dharma, that upper, but then we have our morphic mission. Together, we all have to do something together. A group. Look, you probably saw the Matrix 4.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Where the bird scene, where all the birds fly together.
Yes. Yeah.
Rupert Sheldrake did some amazing work called morphic resonance. Talks, we've heard a lot about herd mentality.
The morphogenetic field.
The bees are. Yeah, that stuff is real, and that's what I'm saying. I can prove. That's one of the things I study.
Okay.
Is how we connect morphically. That's like when a man shows up, women, the vibe changes completely. And there's a great reason for that. When a real man shows up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
No, it's really interesting. Yeah. Profound stuff.
And then we also have the personal purpose. And that's where I think we can get into our personal purpose. And then what does that mean? We automatically accept morphically what the other people are doing. If we get selfish enough to realize, no, I came to do something. I have a reason for being here, a purpose. I'm here for something.
For watching?
Thank watching.
Say have a great day.
Have a great day.
I love you.
I love you.
See you soon.
Soon.
Hey, bye. Nacho. Mwah.
Whee!